1950s, Hungary were the most feared team on the planet. Led by Ferenc Puskás, the magnificent Magyar scored 220 goals in 51 matches between June 1950 and November 1955. Once the giants of world football, their decline has been one of the biggest falls from grace the game has known. Tibor Nyilasi was one of the last Hungarians to grace the world stage. A member of their 1978 and 1982 FIFA World Cup squads, he's widely regarded as one of the most gifted midfielders of his generation.
We didn't have distractions like computers, videos, the internet like they do now. It was a wonderful childhood. We were very poor, but we lived happily. Football meant everything to us. Several million kids in Hungary played football, and out of those several million, some fantastic talents came from the streets.
Nyilasi travelled to South America in 1978 as Hungary took on hosts Argentina in their opening match. Despite the Eastern Europeans taking the lead, Nyilasi remembers the game for very different reasons.
We were looking forward to that first game against the Argentines, but it was murderous in Buenos Aires. It was easy to lose your head. First, my teammate was sent off, and then I got sent off in the 91st minute. It was an awful experience. As I walked off, 70,000 people were whistling and throwing things. I went through hell. But even so, playing was a nice memory.
Hungary lost against the eventual world champions, and further defeats to Italy and France meant they returned to Europe bottom of their group and pointless. 4 years later, Nyilasi captained the squad and scored twice in an emphatic 10-1 defeat of El Salvador in Hungary's opening match. It's the only time in FIFA World Cup history a side has scored in double figures, but the win raised false hopes back home.
Before the World Cup in Spain, there was total football madness in Hungary. There was so much pressure on us. That was a very nice game, and it was great to start a World Cup like that. It should have given us huge momentum, but it didn't work out like that.
In their next match, Argentina were once more the thorn in Hungary's side, with Diego Maradona scoring his first 2 FIFA World Cup goals in a 4-1 win. Hungary would again fail to pass the group stage. Nyilasi quit the national side before the 1986 tournament, the last time Hungary qualified for the FIFA World Cup. A 6-0 hammering by rivals the Soviet Union is seen by some experts as the beginning of the end for Hungarian football. 3 years later, the collapse of communism marked a further setback for the game.
When the change of regime came in 1989, football was forgotten. The pitches were closed. Shopping malls and suburban living areas were built on them. Hungarian football lost any power that it had left.
In recent years, though, Nyilasi has been instrumental in the efforts to revive the game at grassroots level.
I can tell you that over the past 4 years, about 600 new pitches have been built in schools and on the grounds of housing estates. And this could be the foundation for the revival of Hungarian football, where the kids come back to the game. The infrastructure has to improve, so this is where we stand now. It's still difficult though. Things are improving within the clubs, with the academy systems, and amateur football is also starting to revive. But all this needs a lot of time in order to bring the kids back to the pitch.
Signs that a wind of change could be blowing within the country appear in the form of Debrecen. The club have won the Hungarian league title 7 times since 2005 and qualified for the UEFA Champions League group stage in 2009.
It's true. The case of Debrecen shows that if meaningful and professional work begins, and an owner and a sponsor exist, then a team can be built, slowly and calmly. Of course, Debrecen also needed time, but they're now among the few teams here that have a fantastic stadium and a fantastic academy, so they can become stronger. But generally speaking, the financial backing required for a team to be strong doesn't exist here. Although as well as Debrecen, Győr, Videoton and Ferencváros are beginning to rise.
Although reaching the heights of the magnificent Magyars is a distant dream, once the grassroots have set in, a new Puskás might well blossom.